There's no need to panic. You can find peace without porn. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Welcome back for another episode of Porn Brain Rewire, the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about a new 2024 study that has just recently come out in March, and it details problematic porn use across 42 countries worldwide. So, this is a new global impact study that you need to know about. And of course, I'm going to make sure that once you know about this study, you know what to do with the information. You have to be able to have takeaways to help your own life if you struggle with porn. So, stay with me until the end of this podcast because that's exactly what I'm going to do in your brain hack strategy for the day. So, let's start with the idea that you are not alone in porn addiction. If you struggle with porn, this study shows that problematic porn use is as common as other mental health disorders, namely depression is what they found in this study. But problematic porn use is common. So you're not the only person in the world who is struggling with this. I work with thousands of people who struggle with porn, and they believe that this is a problem that's unique to them. I have heard so many people's stories, and I don't want to take away from the story that they share with me, but I also want them to know I've heard iterations of that story thousands of times. It falls out very similarly for most people. So, of course, this situation is individualized to you, but it's systematic also. There is a fundamental core problem that makes your thoughts and your behaviors and the compulsions and the urges and the cravings happen. So it's systematic, even though it's individualized. I want you to know that. So you are not alone in this. 42 countries worldwide, people are struggling with porn. Now, what this study showed is that porn use is the number one manifestation of compulsive sexual behavior disorder, which that has been classified by the World Health Organization in the International Classification of Diseases. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you followed this podcast, you know that I've been saying that for years. So this new study is kind of verifying what I have been telling you. Porn use is the number one way that compulsive sexual behavior disorder manifests. So, what does that mean? I call compulsive sexual behavior disorder, because it's a mouthful, I call it hypersexuality. So it is an compulsive, which does become addictive behavior due to a dopamine dependency. So one interesting thing that the author of this study is quoted as saying in an interview is that there needs to be more research understanding the mechanisms behind problematic porn use, and that people need to understand the mechanisms behind problematic porn use. That is what I'm here doing. I want you to know where the problem lies, because where the problem lies, so does the solution. The problem is a dopamine dependency that you probably found porn when you were young, adolescence, childhood. Your underdeveloped brain got a rush of dopamine, and that rush of dopamine recalibrated your brain in those first couple instances to need more dopamine from sexuality. Basically, your brain got linked to sex in the form of sex on the screen in those first moments of porn use for high levels of dopamine. We know that porn is what's called a supernormal stimulus, and porn is one type of explicit matter that is a supernormal stimulus. So what it leads to is hypersexuality that drives you back to that explicit matter for dopamine. Underlying porn use and explicit matter is a dopamine dependency. It's actually as simple as that. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. So, when the author said people have to understand the underlying mechanisms and there should be more research, there's a ton of research that you can connect the dots between that shows that problematic porn use, which is a manifestation of hypersexuality, is in fact a dopamine dependency. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dr. Trish, produce that science for me. I have. It's in my new book. Mind Over Explicit Matter. You can go over to drtrishleigh.com, look for the book tab, and get on the waiting list because it's going to be out soon. And I want you to see all that science so you can commit to the journey ahead of you, the transformative journey where you get to become the authentic version of yourself. So if you want to know the science, please go over to drtrishleigh.com, get on the waiting list for the book. Okay, so in this study of 42 countries, problematic porn use was found to be as common as other mental health disorders. And we know that the author thinks everybody should know what's at the underlying mechanisms of problematic porn use so they can get, and this is another quote, is that there should be more evidence-based treatment that people can find so that they can help their cause. I want you to know I've put together that evidence-based treatment in my Porn Free Brain Forever program. It's all based on science. So, what this author is suggesting, I'm trying to do, I'm on a mission to help you and as many people overcome porn use so you can get on purpose in your life. Get back to finding dopamine from your work, from your people and your relationships, and from your hobbies, the things that light your heart and your mind on fire. When you're caught in a constant pleasure seeking loop of dopamine, then it's impossible or difficult, at least, to try to find dopamine in your life because the levels are, albeit they are lower, they just are lower because porn's a supernormal stimulus. So, to be able to overcome the supernormal stimulus of porn, evidence based treatment is often necessary. So, what does that mean? Is that when you figure out that indeed you are addicted to porn, it's not as easy as going, okay, I have a porn addiction, a compulsion. I feel urges and cravings to watch porn. When I try to stay away, I feel anxious. I feel exhausted. I feel brain fog. My everything hurts. So, if that's you, I want you to know you likely need help. You need evidence based, scientifically based treatment modality. And in another study that I have referenced in the book, Mind Over Explicit Matter, that study said there's hardly any evidence based treatments out there for pornography addiction. And again, I'm trying to step up and be that program for people. But if you're struggling, I want you to know it's because you don't have a scientifically based program to help you. The program that I offer is biopsychosocial, and I talked about it in the last podcast episode. Brain based, we use brain training, neurofeedback brain training. We used body and mind, psycho and bio, and social within the framework of your relationships and your life. It is a total person, whole body comprehensive program. So, for right now, I want you to know if you have decided to quit porn, but you're not able to be successful, it's not because you can't do it. It's because you need a scientifically based treatment program like this new study suggests. Now, let's move on for a second to another finding of the study shows that only 4% of people who struggle with porn actually try to find a treatment program. And the author suggests that there's a variety of reasons, but the primary reasons that people don't get into a treatment program is because they don't know how and they don't know where to go. I'm telling you how and where you can go if you are up for the personal transformation journey. Another finding is that people said it was too expensive to get a therapist. So they weren't able to afford long-term therapy sessions. I've tried to make my program affordable while I keep the numbers low so that I can give people personal attention within it. So I want you to know the program is a huge value. It's the same cost of approximately 3 therapy sessions with a certified sex addiction therapist. Now, if you feel you want to go in that direction, of course, go in that direction. I want you to find the help that works for you because we know from a whole body of science that the therapeutic alliance, feeling like the person can help you, and that they have the knowledge and the skills, that is one of the most important factors of working together with a professional. So, of course, if you know a therapist and you want to go in that direction, go for it. But I want you to know you probably need help in doing so. You need someone who knows the science-based the foundations of pornography addiction. I've put that into Porn Free Brain Forever, and I offer a monthly meeting so I can personally meet your needs, answer your questions, help you move through that program individually. Because remember, it's systematic and individualized at the same time. The program lays out the system, and then I'm here to help you individually. So this study showed that they didn't know how, they didn't know where, it was too expensive, and they were embarrassed. People were embarrassed about their problems, so they didn't want to get help. Life is too short to be embarrassed about an issue that you have to get help. And I know because when I had a problem, I stood in the space of not getting help for way too long. And honestly, a reason that that happens is denial. Most people are in denial when they ascertain they have a problem that they do not know how to solve. They will stay in a place of this problem isn't that big. And that can be debilitating because, first of all, not only do you have to sit in that space for so long, you are not spending the time getting better. And that's what I did to myself for years. Unfortunately, I'm like, I got this. I'm a smart person. I can figure this out, even though I had no clue what I was dealing with at all. And then when I figured it out, I'm like, dang, I just lost 2 years. I practically lost an eye. I lost a tooth. I lost a lot of things, wasting time, getting worse because I was embarrassed to tell anybody I had a problem. Finally, when it was just abundantly clear that I had a problem, then I said, I got a problem. But I could have done that literally 2 years before. I was connecting the dots, just like I'm sure you're probably connecting the dots. So that is part of the issue, but denial's part of it too. So people were embarrassed. That's what this study shows. You don't have to be embarrassed. I want you to know when you work with a professional who understands this, there's no judgment because it is a dopamine dependency that initiated itself when you were young. So this isn't your fault, but this is your responsibility. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Just like my problem wasn't my fault at all. Well, it was partially. I guess, like, when you look back, you can see partially you've had a hand in it. But you know what I mean. The seeds of it were planted when you were young, but this is your responsibility now. And the reason that I offer brain training in my program is because your brain has been changed due to porn use and especially consistent, frequent, and especially intense consumption. Anything that's up here in genres of violence or crossing moral boundaries, that's going to give your brain a lot of dopamine, which can make it difficult to break the chains of porn addiction by yourself because frequent, consistent, and intense usage has changed your brain dramatically. Now, I include neurofeedback because there's a whole body of literature that shows that neurofeedback can change and improve the way that your brain uses dopamine without you thinking about it. It's at the brain level. So basically, neurofeedback improves the brain mechanisms. And this is what one study showed is that it gives you more cognitive control. Now you have more control over your mind. And honestly, that's where my tagline originated from: control your brain or it'll control you. When you use neurofeedback to train your brain, now you can control your mind. And when you can control your mind, you have greater self regulation skills. That's imperative in a porn addiction recovery. It's built into the digital program Porn Free Brain Forever. You can improve your brain mechanisms, gain greater cognitive control, and then improve your self regulation, which means you can regulate yourself. You don't give in to urges and cravings. Honestly, you won't have them anymore because your brain's improved, but you have greater control of your mind and your body through self regulation. So, I want you to know that if you're one of the many people who struggle with problematic porn use, as it's called in this new study, as a manifestation of compulsive sexual behavior disorder, you are not alone. And it can be difficult to overcome porn use by yourself. An evidence based program is likely what you need. It's systematic and it's individualized, and one that addresses the underlying brain mechanisms is imperative for you. It's just imperative. It is the answer. It's the answer. Where the problem lies, so does the solution. The problem is impaired brain function. It's been changed by porn. The solution is improving brain function so that you have better control of your mind and your body. Okay, so I hope this helps you understand the underlying mechanisms and that evidence based treatment can really help you. I also hope that this helps you understand you're not alone and that you don't have to, struggle in this any longer. You can find the right help and start moving through it. And when you move through it, this is what I know from helping thousands of people. When you move through it, your life will be better than ever. Your relationships can improve. It can be, but this is up to you. Remember, your responsibility. Your relationships can improve, your work can improve, your outlook can improve, the way you feel and perform each day, your sex life will improve. We know that porn use is the number one reason for sexual arousal dysfunction, SAD as I call it. If porn's making you sad, you need an evidence-based treatment program so you can move through this thing and you can get to the life that you want and you deserve. And it would totally be my honor to be part of that because I know that I can help you. All right. So if you're looking for help, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. And as always, control your brain or it'll control you.